Hey guys, it's officially October, which means I'm here to make your October and your Halloween awesome. I can finally wear my skeleton shirt, my berry lips for fall, and most importantly, my fuzzy Halloween socks. I am in absolute heaven right now. Fall is officially here. October is here. Halloween is 30 days away. I can finally let my Halloween freak flag fly. I'm so happy right now. It's unbelievable. Today I thought I would do a Halloween themed video for you all, and I want to talk to you all about my personal favorite Halloween movies. I also thought I would throw in some of my favorite scary video games because I do love a good scary video game. I figured this way I'm posting this video super early in October. You have all of the rest of October to watch these movies and get into the spooky spirit for Halloween. My most favorite, and this is probably the most obvious Halloween movie, is Hocus Pocus. I feel like this is just such an absolute classic. If you've never seen Hocus Pocus, please, please, please go and watch Hocus Pocus right now, and then for every single day of October, watch it again because you need to make up for lost time of not having seen this movie. It's super cheesy, but I think that's the reason why everybody likes it. It is basically about these three witches that are resurrected in Salem, Massachusetts. It is so freaking funny and just pure awesome that I just can't get enough of it. It's all about witches and black cats and trick-or-treating and Halloween and just everything amazing. So please, please, please go watch this if you haven't. And if you have already watched it, well then I'm sure you're agreeing with me on everything I'm saying. I can't wait to go and watch this movie after I'm done filming this because now I really want to watch it. My next favorite Halloween movie is something that was also huge in my childhood, and that is the first Halloweentown movie. After the second Halloweentown movie, which I actually liked, I just stopped liking the rest of the Halloweentown movies, but I do think the first and the second one are very, very good. I remember that Disney Channel would play these movies all the time during October. I kind of hope that they still do because it would break my little kid heart if they stopped playing these movies. These are movies I really want my little brother and sister to watch. They're in like that perfect age to watch Halloweentown. Gabriel is 10 years old, so that's even better. That's the age I was when I watched this movie for the very first time. It's basically about this girl who finds out that she's a witch, and her grandma is a big time witch and is super into it, and her mom is not and refuses for her to become a part of the whole witch thing. The girl is basically like, screw that mom, I want to be a witch, and she joins in with her grandmother, and her grandmother lives in this place called Halloweentown, and she helps her grandmother save all of these creatures from the evil darkness that lurks in Halloweentown. These are definitely some that I'm going to have to rewatch again because it's literally been years since I've watched them. They will always be some of my most favorite Halloween movies ever. Alright, so this movie came out the year after I was born, and it is Casper the Friendly Ghost, the very first live-action Casper movie. I remember watching this all the freaking time, and I had the absolute biggest crush on Casper. He was just so nice and cute and friendly. I mean, he was the friendly ghost, so that makes sense, but I just loved him. I really did. It is about a young boy who is a ghost, his name is Casper, who peacefully haunts a mansion, and this guy comes to communicate with the ghosts in the house, and he brings along his daughter, who is played by Christina Ricci. Casper basically falls in love with Christina Ricci's character, and they just get into all sorts of stuff while she's there. I also have not watched this one in such a long time. I honestly forgot about this one, and this is definitely a movie that I loved. I just remember there was this one scene where Casper makes pancakes, and that will forever be one of my favorite scenes from the movie. I really want to watch this now. I'm just gonna have to have a huge marathon after this video is over. Alright, so this Halloween movie favorite of mine is also a huge classic, and I feel like just a ton of awesome movies came out when I was a kid, and this was definitely one of them, and it is The Nightmare Before Christmas. I was one of those little kids that watched this movie religiously, and since then I have always had a thing for Tim Burton movies. It is a movie that follows around the character Jack Skellington, who is basically bored of going around and scaring people, and he comes across a town called Christmas Town, and his plan for Christmas Town is to basically kidnap Santa and take over his position because he's bored with his position as Pumpkin King in Halloweentown. It is out there and it is kind of weird, but it is definitely a classic Halloween movie. It has a lot of music in it. The animation is so cool in this movie. I remember actually when I was visiting my family in Texas one time, a museum there called the McNay Museum had an exhibit where they had actual pieces of the animation from the movie, which was so amazing to see because this is by far one of my favorite movies from my childhood. So now I am going to get into my actual scary favorite movies to watch around this time. Of course, the video games as well, but I will save those for last. So I have trouble having like favorite scary movies because I feel like a lot of the movies that are scary that come out now, they just don't really scare me, and I don't really ever think that they're very well put together. But that said, I do like watching scary movies regardless of how good they are. I do love watching them. I just don't have a lot of favorites. So my first favorite scary movie is Disturbia, and this is actually kind of more of a thriller scary movie, and it stars Shia LaBeouf, and this is when I first fell in love with him. He was in the Even Stevens TV show, and I always thought he was such a huge weirdo, but when he grew up a little and was in this movie, I had the biggest crush on him, and I wanted something scary to happen to me so that way he could just come and save me from it like he did in this movie, because he was so freaking cute in this movie. But basically what it centers around is Shia LaBeouf's character. He goes under house arrest and gets sort of like cabin fever. Well, in the meantime, he has this neighbor that he starts to see weird things happening with. He saw something weird going on with his neighbor, and then he kept watching him, and then he noticed that there was a trend with what his neighbor was doing and started going crazy and thought that his neighbor was getting into all this stuff and basically killing people, and he wanted people to believe him, so he brought over his friends to help him investigate and figure out what the hell was going on. It just becomes so creepy, and they all try to stop this guy from whatever he's doing, and it's so good and so scary. It's not too like gory, but it is definitely creepy. Love Disturbia. Love it, love it, love it. My next favorite scary movie is The Conjuring, the first one. I have not seen the second one, but I've heard good things about it. When I saw the first one, I remember being so unbelievably scared. I went and saw it in theaters with my mom and my little brother, and I almost pissed myself in the theaters. This story is not too unusual or too new of a story. It has been done before, which is why it's awesome that this movie is so scary, because they made the story new. It's basically about this family who has 5 daughters. They notice that there is a spirit who has taken control of the house. They call in 2 paranormal investigators who try to stop the evil spirits from harming the family. It's mainly the way it was filmed was just pure awesome. They did an amazing job filming this movie. And I also really do think that the actors did a great job as well. This is hands down one of the scariest movies I've ever watched in the past 10 years of scary movies coming out. So if you're looking for a real serious scary movie that is going to creep you the freak out, this is a good one to watch. I really, really do want to watch Conjuring 2. If you've seen it, what do you think of it? Is it as scary as the first one? Alright, so those are all of the movies that I love to watch this time of year that I find really get me into the Halloween spirit and really just scare the absolute crap out of me. But I definitely would like to mention 2 video games that I love to play as well. I'm a huge scary horror video game kind of person. I love anything creepy, as you can tell. So one of the video games I want to talk about is Silent Hill. I remember my parents playing this video game a lot when I was a kid. I started getting really into this video game as well. They've come out with a lot of Silent Hill games. It's basically about this cop who's traveling with his daughter. They enter the town of Silent Hill, and he loses his daughter in the town and has to go and rescue her. The town is so creepy, so foggy and just spooky. There's all of these really horrifying creatures and just obstacles he has to get through in order to save his daughter. It goes into a lot of the backstory of the town of Silent Hill. This is the type of video game that I live for, that I love to play. I wish I could play the first Silent Hill again, but it is a really awesome, scary video game. My next favorite video game and my last thing I'm going to talk about for this video is Resident Evil. Resident Evil is typically a zombie video game, and my absolute favorite game by Resident Evil is Resident Evil 4. I also believe that Resident Evil 4 has gotten some of the best reviews out of all of the Resident Evil games, and there are quite a few. I remember when this game was released for the Nintendo Wii, my brother and I played it that entire summer. Like, it was one of the first video games I finished from start to end, so I also think that's one of the big reasons it's one of my favorite games. I'm not huge into the Wii system, but it was pretty cool to have like the controller being used as the gun in the game, so it made it a little bit more realistic. I think one of the reasons why I like horror and just scary video games is because they're like watching a horror movie but actually being inside of it. It's like a huge ass scary movie that you're actually in. If you know of any that you like, let me know, because I actually would like to play some new ones. So let me know some of your favorite scary video games and I will give those a try for sure. Alrighty guys, so those are just a few of my favorite Halloween movies and a couple of scary video games that I also like. I'm very, very excited for this month. I hope you are as well, and that this gives you some things to play and watch leading up until Halloween. Thank you very, very much for watching again, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. I have a lot more Halloween videos coming, don't you worry. Bye guys!